Hello people, let's dive right in. So, first off, we're gonna add a character body 3D. We can rename it enemy, and then we can save branch as scene, enemy, and make sure you're in your objects folder. Then let's open the new scene, and let's import our enemy model. So in our case, it's a goblin, so we're gonna go in our folders, model, enemy, and we got goblin export.blend. Let's slide it on our enemy just like that, and now we've got our beautiful model imported with all the animations. We still got a step to do because right now the goblin export is an imported scene, so we cannot modify it inside of Godot. I would have to modify it in Blender, then re-import it, and we obviously don't want that. We want to be able to modify it directly in the Godot editor. So we're going to right click and press on the option make local. Good. So now all the nodes included in our model are imported into this scene. So we can open the goblin export, and for example, we can press on the animation player and we can see all the animations that are with our model. First off, as we can see, the texture is not right. So we can press on Goblin LP. This is the mesh of the actual goblin. So if we press on Goblin LP, you can make it invisible to make sure it's the right one. Goblin LP, we're going to go under Surface Material Override, and we're going to create a new standard material 3D. Now, as you can see, the texture changed. It's still not right, so we're going to manually make it. So we're going to open the material tab and go to normal map, enable the normal map, and we can go into our enemy folder and take our goblin normals.png and slide it into textures. So now, as you can see, the model looks better. Still, it's only white, so we're going to go into albedo. Albedo stands for color, so we're going to take our goblin colors and slide it into the texture. Now we get a nice goblin. There's still one thing we can do to enhance the visuals, is take our goblin cavity and slide it into roughness. I personally like the effect. If you don't like it, don't do it. And you can also put cavity in the ambient occlusion tab. So enable it and slide goblin cavity in the ambient occlusion. So now our basic goblin looks good. We can go on and add a collision shape for his, obviously for his collisions. Let's choose capsule mesh under the inspector. And let's resize, let's move and resize the capsule mesh to the right size. So just like that, seems fine to me. We can play a few animations. You can select another animation like right there. Make sure you're under the animation tab at the bottom. You can choose, for example, the walk animation and just play it so you can see if the collider is fine. It doesn't matter if his arms go out a bit. Then let's add a new script. We can call it enemy.gd and make sure it's under your scripts folder. Open and create. Good. We can remove everything that's written there because these are the basic lines for the player controller, so we don't need them. Since it's our goblin, so we're going to be making our goblin AI. First off, we're going to create a very basic state machine. So how are we going to do this? We're going to use an enum. So the enum will allow us to give different states to our goblin. So our enum will be states, open the brackets, and type all our states. So we want the state attack, we want idle, we want chase, and we want die. These will be the 4 states possible for our goblin. Then we're going to create a variable, so var state will be equal to states.idle. So state will be the actual state, and states dot any state that we want will be calling a state this way. Now we can create a new variable that we'll call HP, and we'll say he has, for example, 15 HP. where we're going to create a variable speed will be equal to 2. And then we're going to start by creating a new function that will be his behaviors. So func behaviors, and we're going to open the function, and we'll say if state, so the actual state, so this variable, so if state equal states dot idle. So if the actual state is equal to state idle, we're going to put his velocity equal to 0. So velocity will be equal to vector3 dot 0. So vector3 because we're in 3D, so the movements are 3-dimensional, so vector3, and dot 0 will reset the vector to 0. Let's copy and paste this for all the states. We gotta add elif, and elif. And the state in this case will be chase, attack, and die. Good. And we can all set the velocity to 0, and then we'll change it a bit. Then what we want to do is make sure we're able to change states in our state machine. So now all of these are under our behavior function. So we're gonna add the process function to process the behavior function every single step. So just like that. And then we're going to add two area 3D to our enemy. And one will be the area that we'll call chase area, and the other will be attack area, as you may guess. So under each areas, we're going to add a collision shape, and we're going to go into our 3D view and select the cylinder shape. We can go in the Z view, select the cylinder, and just resize it. Just resize it like that, and put it a bit higher, and then we can make the cylinder much bigger. This will be a chase area, so we want our goblin to be pretty aware of his surroundings. Then in the attack area, same, we're gonna add a cylinder shape. I'm going to go in Z view, going to reshape it, resize it I mean, and then like that. This will be his attack area. Good. Then we can go back into our player script, our enemy script. Go into node, so make sure you selected chase area. Go into node signals, and then body entered. So when a body will enter the chase zone, we're gonna do X and Y. So if the body dot has method player, let's say that his state, so state will be equal to states dot chase, just like that. And let's go into our signals again, and if the body exits, we're gonna copy and paste these lines. So if the body has a method player, state will be idle, will be equal to idle, because our player will just have left the area. Good. Now, as you can see, I use the function has method. So this is a function that will check if the body has the function, the method player. So we're gonna go into our player scripts. Let's create one. So function player, just like that, and we're going to say pass. So the function won't be doing anything, but we will be able to use it to reference our body to make sure that the body getting inside of the zone is actually the player, because the only body that will have the function player will be obviously the player. So good. Then we can do the same for the attack area. So make sure you select the attack area and press body entered, connect it, and body exited, connected. So we can copy and paste this. If body has method player, the state will be equal to attack, and if the body has method player and he just leaves and he just left the attack area, the state will be equal to chase, because as you can remember, if he leaves the attack area, he will still be in the chase zone, so we want the goblin to start chasing the player. So to make sure it works, we can go into our behaviors and just add a simple line. We're gonna add line print, and we're going to say idle. So when the goblin will be idle, it will print idle. When the goblin will chase, we're going to print chase. And when the goblin attacks, we're going to say attacks, just like that. And die, let's not we're not going to bother for the moment, because we cannot attack it yet, but it will be very simple to add it in later tutorials. So now we can test it. Just launch your game, and as you can see, it says chase, chase, chase. If I get further from him, idle, idle, idle. If I get in, chase, chase, chase. And if I get in closer, it says attack, attack, attack. So at first it was saying chase, even though I was in the attack range. It's just because the character node, the player node, got created inside of the areas, so it glitched a bit. But we can just test it by getting further and getting in, and as you can see, it works perfectly fine. Good. So this will be it for this tutorial. I hope you liked it. We will start implementing the actual mechanics in the next episode. For now, we just wanted to have a properly functioning state machine. So leave a like, subscribe, and see you then.